Rounding out the X trilogy comes Maxine, where we see Mia Goth yet again reprising her role of Maxine from X, only this time we've jumped into the 80s, set in 1985. This is pure neon and excess, and I love that kind of feeling. It's an era I grew up on, and I love to see that captured on screen. This sees Maxine, who is now deep within her adult film career, looking for an escape, looking for a part in The Puritan 2, a hit follow-up horror film that should be her big break. She is pushing to get that role, and when she gets it, she finds that her life is about to implode because the past has come back to haunt her, and at the same time there is the Night Stalker serial killer going on who seems to be targeting her friends, her, and everyone attached to her life. And she has only a weekend to get everything solved before production goes underway and the rest of her life can move on. I really enjoyed this one. Very different from both X and Pearl, whereas I think Pearl is more an introverted look at a character struggling to cope with her surroundings. This is more about perseverance. This is a character who knows exactly what she is and is willing to go for it, whereas Pearl was repressed and she was put upon and she had aspirations but didn't know how to get there. Maxine is a very different person altogether. She is driven. She knows that she is going to be a star and she will make it. She has that colour instinct that you would expect from it.
Because I'm a star. Ain't nobody else like me. The whole world's gonna know my name.
The 1980s glamour and horror mix is a fantastic conceit, bringing in the neon, the VHS cultures, because she goes to a shop where a friend works. The cinematic nostalgia of 80s excess is there for us, and we're carrying forward it. Feelings or themes from the other movies, of rise, of fall, of rebirth. This kind of journey that we're watching Maxine on tracks her fame and how ambition can be as monstrous as any killer in the film itself. It has this really strong feeling of giallo and sleaze that's mixed through it. Seedy backgrounds highlighted by flashing neon lights, underground sex cultures that is going on. It has all these moments that harken back to wonderful 70s giallo films, which are something that I deeply love, and that aesthetic was something that just really brought me into the film.
Time to pay for your sins.
Lights out, bro.
I also like the inclusion of the Night Stalker, the idea of this subplot that really ties into real world horror, things that are going on, taking our fictional characters and grounding them in a reality. I really enjoyed Maxine. I feel from the three films is probably the most surface level entertaining. It's one of those movies that I can easily find myself throwing on and enjoying it. You got Mia Goth's performance, which is charismatic, it's unpredictable, and it is morally complex all the way through it. And I kind of really like that, seeing her from X and moving into this role with the same character of Maxine Minx, which is just terrific. It's a really different finale to the X trilogy as well, and it was one of those ones where I was wondering, are they going to end on a bittersweet moment? Are they going to have a kind of downbeat ending, something that doesn't quite live up to what I was hoping was going to happen? You know, and this one again, very different, but visually as rich as the other films. I think it's neon lit horror, the retro synth soundtrack, it just has that nostalgic kick that can be sometimes too grating in other movies, but I felt it fit the aesthetic, it fit the tone of the story perfectly here, and it just was a great entertainment. Now for me, in the X trilogy, I think Pearl is the best movie. It's the most well constructed, it really dives into the character and gives a really enriching sort of aspect of a woman's breakdown. But Maxine is just pure entertainment. It may not have as rich themes, it may not have them to the forefront, but for me, visually and just the way the story plays out was just a lot more fun. Pearl is the best. Maxine's the one I'm going to watch the most, I think. Now, this is a second sight disc, so you know it's rammed with extras. It's already a meaty edition, as you would expect. Now, as I said in my Pearl review, I don't have the facility to really get into the menu of this, but we can have a look at the extras and I can talk you through my thoughts. So we're going to have a look at some of the extras on MaXXXine. This is from Second Sight Films page. You can see here we have a new commentary by Bill Ackerman and Amanda Reyes. Back to the blank page, a new interview with the director Ty West is 16 minutes 3 seconds. He's talking about what he felt was the fitting conclusion to this film, going to Hollywood and really showing its seedy underbelly, and that's how he felt. They had to push that bigger budget, more impactful Los Angeles. He just felt it was a natural conclusion location. Next, we have Money on the Screen, a new interview with producer Jacob Jafke, and this runs for 29 minutes 54 seconds. He talks a lot about, again, the budget being much bigger, about putting a lot of it onto the screen, about things they never considered when they were, first costing things up, like working in the Hollywood sign, and how impractical that really was. Next, we have B-Movie Aesthetic, a new interview with the director of photography, Elliot Rocket. And I really enjoyed this one. It's 21 minutes, 9 seconds, and they're talking about, how it was kind of inspired by a Brian De Palma feel about it. It has early 80s movies, and that's the kind of blueprint they used. At one point, it gets really techie, start going into lenses and things like that, and just putting a lot of jargon in there, which is not something that the layman generally understands, but it was really nice to see his passion in talking about that. Next, we have Curating Space, a new audio interview with the production designer Jason Kisvardi, and this runs for 24 minutes 28 seconds. And again, a little bit different. He talks about how his job was really a benchmark for others and how that carried on. So he'd create mood boards for certain scenes, take it to the art director who would then go and start planning things. And he kind of talks you through that setup, which was really interesting. Next, The Whole World's Gonna Know My Name, Cat Hughes on MaXXXine, which is 14 minutes 56 seconds. And it's a visual essay all about how Hollywood is basically a cult. Now on to some things that were already pre-made about the behind the scenes, the belly of the beast. Again, this, which is 9 minutes 37 seconds, and XXX Marks the Spot, which is 11 minutes 19 seconds, are both kind of behind the scenes talking heads, people just talking about the production, little aspects of it. Hollywood is a Killer is similar as well, but it's got a bit more of a focus. It is 8 minutes 12 seconds, and it's looking at the effects, which I think is interesting as well. And then finally we have a Q&A with Ty West, so it runs for 25 minutes 28 seconds. Feels like a kind of culmination of many years working on this trilogy, and he just gets to sit there and answer some pretty decent questions on the production. Again, we have a rigid slipcase with new artwork on this one, an incredible 120-page booklet, which I have read most of the essays already, and there's some really interesting ones in there, as well as 6 art cards, and that's the extras for MaXXXine. There we have it. Rounding out the X trilogy is MaXXXine. I really wish the Second Sight Films had released X just to have all 3 of them in these kind of editions, because they were wonderful. These are really kind of terrific, and I enjoyed seeing both these movies. I wasn't sure they were going to live up to X. They were better, and I really appreciate that. I would love to know your thoughts on MaXXXine. What do you think of it? Where do you think it lands within the trilogy of these movies? Let me know in the comment box below. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, manvfilm.com always, in which you can support. Thanks for watching. See you next time.